Pretty privilege is so intriguing to me because as long as you're attractive, basically any of your bad traits can be seen as a good thing.
Selfish. Self-centered. This woman believes the sun should rise and set according to her needs.
So a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to this guy and we were just talking about our careers and what we wanted to do and our aspirations in life. And essentially he asked me, why are you worrying about your career? You can easily get whatever you want out of life from a man because of your beauty and your looks. And I'm just standing there like, I have no words. I mean, is this the life that we're living? A life where girls and women's careers solely depend on how attractive they are? This whole conversation brought me into the topic of today's video, which is pretty privilege. Pretty privilege, also known as beauty bias, is the theory that people who are considered the most attractive based on societal beauty standards are given more opportunities, unearned advantages, and better treatment compared to average-looking people. These are the people who others will go out of their way to help and don't have a problem with doing so whatsoever. So these are most of the pick-me girls at school, prom queens, gym hotties, a lot of receptionists, those type of people. I also want to point out that pretty privilege is more associated with females, even though it's still pretty prevalent with guys. People with pretty privilege tend to have the upper hand in life. Almost everything that they do is perfect and cute and amazing. We've all seen the hot girl show up with just wearing sweatpants and a messy bun, and she looks perfectly fine and really good. Yet if the societal ugly person shows up in sweatpants, then they look really not put together and just not clean. Pretty girls don't have to look presentable and put together because their face and their body make up for that. I mean, half of the things that hot people do are just naturally effortless and sexy. They don't have to try to look a certain way because they already do. Okay, now let's talk about pretty privilege in the work field. Studies have shown that not only are physically attractive people more confident and more favored, they also have a significant increased wage more than others do. Is this surprising? No. I mean, of course, pretty privileged people are more confident and more successful because they know they look good while they're doing anything. A lot of times they don't necessarily have to worry as much about their job because they know they're going to get a lot more leeway when it comes to certain things. There are even jobs that are made based off how pretty you look. The main one that comes to mind is a job like Hooters. I remember once I worked with an employee and she was the definition of gorgeous. I mean, she was stunning, but she was so lazy. She always did things halfway. Yet out of all the servers working there, she would make the most money ever. And all the workers basically worshipped her. I mean, they took out her trash, they swept and they mopped for her, they did everything. And I remember this one time she needed a ride home and one of the guys that worked with her said that he would just take her home. But he was already done with his shift and she came in earlier, so he had to wait like 2 hours for her to be done with her shift and to close up the restaurant and everything like that. But 15 minutes before they were about to leave, she basically said that, oh, one of my friends said that they would pick me up so you don't have to worry about it. But this guy had spent like 2 hours waiting just to take her home. I was literally livid. I was so upset and mad. I mean, it didn't happen to me obviously, but I mean, what the hell? These are the things that more attractive people can get away with. And what's a trend without it being on TikTok? Hashtag pretty privilege has over 250 million views. And I guess we should be glad that pretty privilege is at least being recognized and it's not this taboo thing that no one likes to talk about. And when it comes to being pretty privileged in the influencer world, you are awarded with so many perks and so many opportunities. I mean, there's even this app that judges whether or not you are attractive enough, and if you are awarded with free packages, free samples, tickets, they'll pay for your spa sessions, like everything you can think of.
There is this network of apps that are essentially beauty passes. So if you're a model or just like a pretty girl or an influencer, you can apply to get in. They're like exclusive, so not everyone gets accepted, but you apply to get in, and if you get in, there's a shit ton of businesses, restaurants, like massages, facials, lip injections, makeup, clothes, whatever, haircuts, everything, yoga classes, Pilates, everything that you can get for free just if you like tag them on an Instagram story.
At first, when I found out about this app, I was a little hesitant because that sounded really weird, but it turns out that it's actually true. I was going to sign up for it and test it out, but I don't really want to be judged on why it looks like that. And what if I get denied? That will not be a good feeling. Even though being beautiful and hot is amazing, there is of course a dark side when it comes to pretty privilege. When you're an attractive person, most people assume that you're ditzy and kind of a stupid person, because it's like there's no way that you can be beauty and brains. And in some ways it's kind of a backlash because people tend to have these high expectations when it comes to attractive people. So when they fail to live up to these expectations, they're punished more harshly than unpretty people are.
If a pretty girl loves herself, they'll call her narcissistic. But if she hates herself, all of a sudden she's our fun, relatable queen that we love and die for.
Like for example, even though pretty people might make more tips, it could easily backfire. A handsome waiter might get smaller tips because that customer expected that waiter to be the best of the best because they were so attractive. And I've realized that you also don't know who's being genuine with you or who's just being nice because they think being with you will give them more opportunities. And I know a lot of people will hate the more attractive people because they're just plain jealous of them. There's also the famous line of people saying just stand there and look pretty. Society kind of puts pretty privileged people in this box of just being like all you're good for is to be an entertainer and just show off your good looks and get paid while doing it, while other people actually have to put in the work and effort to actually make a living for themselves. But we can't deny that you can make a career out of just being a pretty person, whether that mean people giving you more opportunities with your job, or having a job where you just depend on your body to make money, or marrying someone just because they're rich and you're gorgeous so you can get away with it. It's also a struggle for more physically attractive people because everyone just assumes that pretty girls don't have any problems. Like if those type of people try to talk about, you know, hard times that they're going through or something that they're dealing with, they get, I don't even know why you're upset, or you're beautiful so you shouldn't have to worry about anything like that, or it must be so hard being so beautiful. And something I think a lot of us, including myself, assume when it comes to more physically attractive people is that most of them have had a ton of romantic partners and there's no way they could have a 0 body count. You know, sometimes I just think we as a society forget that pretty privileged people are still human beings just like the rest of us, and they still go through things just like the rest of us. So while researching for this video, I found this one confession from a pretty privileged person, and they were basically explaining reasons why it was hard to be an attractive and privileged person, but it just came off extremely shallow, and it was just really funny to hear their explanation. So they were talking about friend zoning guys, and they said, I am not an ugly girl, so it's hard for me to find a guy who doesn't want to get in my pants, date me, or marry me. It's like, guys, please, I'm only one girl and I'm young. I don't want to be tied down, and every day I have to go through the tedious process of sitting my guy friends down and saying, no, I don't want to date. No, we're not an item. No, I only hooked up with you last week because I was blackout drunk and horny. Turning down guys is exhausting. If anything, they just made their case look so much worse because it seemed like they were bragging in a way, because it was like, oh my gosh, I have to turn down guys like every single day, and it's just so exhausting. I assumed that they didn't mean it like that, but it just came across that way, and it was just very entertaining to read. Social media has also just really capitalized on pretty privilege. Like this YouTube channel, I think called Jubilee, made so many videos like ranking women by their attractiveness and whose girlfriend is the most attractive. I mean, like I said before, at least we as a society have called out what pretty privilege is, and at least we're aware of it. And sometimes even with myself, I wonder if I had a messy bun and just wore like basic clothing or basic t-shirts, but people still watch my videos, because I already have a disadvantage because I don't fit in the standards of, you know, modern day beauty standards, which is of course being white with, you know, maybe blonde hair and blue eyes and things of that nature. And if I look like that, would I get more subscribers? Would I get more comments? Would more people want to watch me? Alright guys, that was today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. I upload every single week, so I will be back with my next video next week. Bye guys.